Hello and welcome to Betfred's Football Show. Paul Parker is alongside me. We've got lots to talk about after midweek action. Let's start with that game at the Etihad. Man City now 1-12 to win a title. Arsenal 7-1. It's only a 2-point gap at the top, with of course Man City still in second, but 2 games in hand. City are going to win a title, aren't they?
They are. They certainly are. And it's not just because of the positioning and what they've got in hand. It's just the manner of the way they're going about their games at the moment. They're destructive. I think Haaland has taken a step forward. He's improving and he will get better and better. I saw more in his game against Arsenal than I've seen in a long time, and that was a big game. And he's definitely 100% a big game player. And that's what's happened to City. Their big game players have all come into fruition now, and they're flying everywhere. Jack Grealish is having his best time as a City player. He's scoring more goals. He's making more opportunities. He's getting assists now on his CV. It's really, really changed at City the way they're going. Haaland is only going to improve under someone like Pep Guardiola.
He has been phenomenal. 33 Premier League goals now, which is a record for a 38 league game season. 48 in total for the season. And people were questioning Haaland in January, weren't they, as well, saying, was he the right kind of signing for Man City?
I was one of them, to be perfectly honest. I was a bit sceptical because I wasn't seeing the flow in Manchester City. But, when before I saw Manchester City flowing like everyone else did without a centre-forward winning last season's Premier League. And I think he did stutter him in a certain way. They lost a little bit of momentum the way they went forward. It seemed like the whole game plan was De Bruyne to Haaland. That's how it seemed to work. And now I think Pep has integrated Haaland into the way they play the game. An unselfish role, an incredible unselfish role, because he's still scoring a load of goals, but he's definitely integrating more. And that's Pep's strength. He improves individuals, which gives him the opportunity to improve the team.
Do you think Arsenal at the end of the season are going to rue these drop points at home to Southampton? They dropped points again before as well?
Yeah, of course they are. They're going to look back on it and say what it could have been. But what's caught Arsenal out is the yips more than anything. Is 91-92. We had that in the last last Football League season. We around that Easter time, we didn't know how to do it. We lost the idea of when teams stop that, where do we go to next? There was a few injuries, which you can always talk about. But when you're a big club, people don't really accept injuries because you're still going to be maybe better than the majority of what you got left. But we just lost the continuity because of injuries and the fact that we wasn't strong enough or maybe brave enough to take on a challenge of going on to win the league. And Leeds actually ended up doing it the following season.
Well, was the following next season because of the experience the season before?
Yeah.
Of a rollicking off Fergie, or a mixture of both?
I'm going to go with the latter. Definitely go with that one. But the following season, we got, you get that little bit again, but you know how to deal with it. City knew how to deal with their problem when they was struggling. They was just getting over the line. They were dropping points. And they've got over that and they've just gone bang and they've just had wins on the bounce. And it's all good. I just believe so much in performances. All of a sudden, the reason why is that I'm that way is because of it was put into me by a person I played for. But I'm seeing City now, and I'm seeing the way they're winning. It's putting the frighteners on everybody. Those Arsenal players would have gone to the Emirates going, oh, yeah, we maybe could, but they're on a great run, but look how they're destroying everyone. The manner in which they're being ruthless, and that puts it into people's heads. And that's why someone like Pep is performance-orientated, the same as Sir Alex, winning, but winning in a manner to make other people think is a real strong move.
So that ruthless nature, is that how you'd compare Pep and Sir Alex? Both got that ruthless nature?
Oh, without a doubt. They're both ruthless in that way. And he wants his players ruthless as well. He wants them saying, if you win this, when we've won this, when we go again, you've got to want to do it again, because if you don't want to do it again, you're no good to me. Because Pep wants to win everything year after year. And if you accept what you got
just
already...
Just like Fergie.
Exactly right. If you accept what you want, what you got, that's enough, I'm all right, I'm full, my belly's full, sorry, you're not going to last long.
So you obviously loved playing for Sir Alex Ferguson. Do you think you'd love playing for Pep Guardiola?
I think he could be maybe a little bit more intense because he gets really, really deep. But that's the modern side of it. If I could put myself in as I was as a player and put myself in now with someone like Pep, I think I could, yeah, because he's someone. Because you'll go one way or the other. You'll either want to win things and you go with it, or someone who just wants to be a footballer, and that's it. You're not fussed about winning. You won't be able to take somebody who has got more passion than what you have, which Pep has. There's no manager like him when it comes to winning a game of football.
So the bookmakers have Man City 1-12 to win another Premier League title. No doubt Fred will pay out on them early, very, very soon. Right then, they're in action on Sunday at Fulham, live on Sky against your old club. Fulham are winless in the last 15 Premier League meetings with Man City.
So, do you want me to a prediction, or do you just...
I want you to talk about the game and give me a prediction.
Oh, right. Well, to be honest, I mean, when you talk a record like that, you look in the way City are playing, there can only be one winner. But Fulham have lifted themselves. They went through a bad spell. Going to Goodison and winning there was a big win for Fulham. Haven't won there many times over the last 100 years. Incredible performance to go and do it. But given how Everton were last night, maybe it's not as good as I thought it was. But they've done really well to lift them out of it. They've had a fantastic season, Fulham, but they are not going to win that game. They will not beat a Manchester City. I'm looking at that game and I'm thinking maybe 3-0 to Manchester City.
3-0 Man City. It's live on Sky. City will then go top of the table, and that's the first time since February, because Arsenal don't play until Tuesday night now. It's Tuesday night. Arsenal are in action against Chelsea. So Arsenal-Chelsea on Tuesday night. How do you see that? Arsenal, the home team.
Well, I'm believing now that a lot of Arsenal players might now just kind of maybe accepting. They don't believe there's anything there for them anymore, and they just might be a little bit more relaxed, not so tense, and they could just relax in that moment in time, and that just might make it easier for them up against a side that are going nowhere at this moment in time. They are on the treadmill going nowhere, Chelsea. I mean, I can only see one team winning
11th.
that. Yeah. I just can only see one team winning that. You look at Chelsea, you don't see a win in them. You don't see any belief. You don't see them scoring a goal. You don't see anything coming off the bench towards the players. Just a case, get out there and do what you can. Lack of organisation on and off the pitch. So Chelsea are in a bad place, which will just help Arsenal.
So that is 2 o'clock on Sunday. Other 2 o'clock games on Sunday as well, which we'll talk about a little later. Let's talk relegation. Obviously, that was a huge blow for Everton last night. Bournemouth get the win. I think 36 points could be enough. Certainly one win for Bournemouth, and it could definitely be absolutely fine. At the moment, it's Leicester, Everton and Southampton in the bottom three. And at Monday night, 8 o'clock, it's Leicester, Everton. It's only one win in 10 now for Everton. It started well under Dyche as well, didn't it?
They did, and everyone only saw it going one way just because of initially Sean going now. Then he got that win off the back of him being there, and you thought, yep, it's going to go his way. It's what they brought him in for. But they've lost that bounce at home. I think they did all their bits last night against Everton. Against Newcastle. They tried to do the intimidation, all that, and it hasn't worked. The players are not buzzing. Richarlison is a big miss in a moment like this for them. They've just lost that buzz, and if they're not going to take points at home, you just can't see them taking points away from home. Because I saw Leicester the other day at Leeds. They had their bad start, but you could just see they've got good players. Maybe a few of them are lacking a bit of a heart in this situation, but they've got far too much quality there, and quality doesn't guarantee you anything at either end of the table. But they've got too much nous there to allow Everton to come to their ground and beat them. So virtually, Leicester could put Everton in serious problem, even a bigger problem than what they were in last season.
So it's 8 o'clock Monday night, Leicester versus Everton. Leicester finished really well against Leeds on, was it Tuesday night or Wednesday night? On Tuesday night, finished really well against Leeds. So can you see Leicester coming out on top then against Everton?
I can do, yeah. I really... Everton are struggling. I've got 2-0. maybe 2-0 Leicester, and it could be comfortable. If they carry on from the way they finish that game at Leeds, where they look like a side comfortably sitting mid-table than a side fighting for their lives.
That is 8 o'clock on Monday night. So we've spoken about two live games already. Let's talk about the live game on Saturday lunchtime, which is Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Crystal Palace, 37 points now under Roy Hodgson. Oh, that could be enough. And then you have got West Ham in 15th on 34 points.
Well, on that one, Crystal Palace, under Roy, in his first stint, 40 points was always the one they went for. They went 40 points and then they nosedive. That's how the Palace used to be. Palace fans knew it, everyone knew it, the media talked about it. Once they got what they needed, they just fell apart. 37, almost, but it's just one of those games. If you're West Ham, you'd have hoped they would have got to 40 if you believe the hype. But
well, I suppose Roy's team talk's quite easy, isn't it? Go and win this.
Yeah.
You're more than likely going to stay up.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of it, the games that he's had to come into were quite good for him to come into. They were winnable games for Palace. What Vieira had prior to that was a difficult run. But Roy, you've had to go in there and win them. You're in the bottom end of the table. There's a reason why you're down there. But the obvious one is you're not winning games of football. So he's got them out of that. He's got players clicking. He's got Eze going. Eze has been a bit of an enigma during his time, hot and a lot, and cold most of the time. So he's popped out a little bit more. Elise losing. They never used to win a game without Zaha. They've won games without him. So that's another plus as well. So I look at that. It makes the game very, very difficult. David Moyes knows if he's going to pick up points, this is a game to get something, because their next two games are the two Manchester sides. So he's going to want to pick up points in these two, and anything after that is a real bonus.
What score then? Palace West Ham.
I think this goes out in Essex, doesn't it, and around East London. So even though I enjoy
goes out everywhere, Paul.
Yeah, I'm enjoying. I do enjoy going to Palace, and I'm there this weekend as well. But I'm going to go the town I'm born in. I was born in West Ham. West Ham will win 2-1.
Yes, been good of late, West Ham. So 2-1 West Ham. A couple of 3 o'clock kickers on Saturday. Brentford, Nottingham Forest. I didn't mention Nottingham Forest had that great win midweek, but that was at home, and that was 1 win in 11. But Forest, as we stand at the moment with 5 games to go, are out of the drop zone just. Can they get anything at Brentford?
No. Really, no, it can't happen. For them to win, for the win they got against Brighton, really, I could not believe they got that win, to be perfectly honest. I didn't see Nottingham Forest doing it after their performance against Manchester United, where they brought their away form home, where home was their sanctuary. And I thought, that's them gone, they've lost that bit. And they pull off that win, which surprised a lot of people, caught a lot of people out. But to go to Brentford, and now Brentford has seemed to have become back to where they were a few weeks ago, no, they're just going to be too strong for them, too strong mentally and physically, Brentford, to allow Nottingham Forest to beat them at home. They're not going to want to be tied with that brush at this late stage in the season.
And then Forest's next game is at home to Southampton on Monday, the 8th of May. What a massive game that is. And obviously, Southampton in action on Sunday, which we'll talk about in a moment. So what score are you going to go for Brentford Forest?
I'll be looking at that. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0 Brentford.
Yeah.
Right, 3 o'clock, Brighton Wolves. Brighton obviously had this great season in 8th, slipped midweek to Nottingham Forest. Wolves as well, another of the teams of picking up points of late. They're on 37 points now, Wolves, in 13th.
Yeah, at one point, you're looking at Wolves being safe. You thought they was all right. They were going okay. They've had a couple of defeats of late, and it's changed a little bit. They're still struggling to score goals, and they're playing against Brighton. I can only see Brighton winning that. I'm a big fan of Brighton.
Yeah,
I like the change. I'm going to say Brighton to win that one. Again, I'm looking at 2-0.
Let's move to Sunday. Massive game at 2 o'clock. We've spoken about Fulham Man City, which is live on Sky, but massive game at the bottom. Bournemouth Leeds. Bournemouth got a good win at Southampton last night. They've been good on the road of late, Bournemouth, but they're at home to Leeds. You just get the feeling Leeds need to get something out of this, don't you?
They certainly do. And if there's playing maybe any other team or any team just who are above Leeds, I would have gone for Bournemouth, who went to Tottenham and got what they deserved from Tottenham. And then you think they're at home to West Ham, and you think to yourself, whew, and they go and get beaten 4-0 at home. That's the reason why they were, where they were. I would look at that and believe that because of Leeds, and they're quite weak, Leeds, I'm really surprised their home form is terrible. Haven't deserved to win anything at home. Not even the words of unlucky comes to mind. Got to see Bournemouth really cementing their place back in the Premier League.
They're on 36 points, so
yeah,
home win on Sunday will be enough.
That should be enough for those players. And those players...
And well done, Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, they want to make a mark. They're enjoying Premier League football for the first time, a lot of those players. They're going to want it badly. And I've put Bournemouth to win that game. I'm going to say 3-1.
3-1 Bournemouth. More woe for Leeds. Let's turn our attention to Newcastle, Southampton. Look, I hate to upset Southampton fans, but of all the teams, Everton you still give a chance. Leicester, I think you give a very good chance. I think Southampton are gone now, aren't they? 6 points. We're just 6 points adrift with 5 games left.
Yeah, it's just a crying shame. There'll be a lot of people who are not happy seeing Southampton where they are. The club has got had such a good reputation, the way they were run, the way they went about their business, but now they're just too inexperienced in what they're trying to do now, and the club will have to go backwards to go forward as far as I'm concerned. So they go into a team that just haven't stopped scoring. They went to Newcastle at a point where they were struggling to score goals. They could contain teams, but getting just over the line or getting beaten. And since they got that, maybe they got beaten against Aston Villa, which, if you look at it, take away the goals, they got totally outplayed by Villa, first time this season. And they've bounced back incredibly, but they've been emphatic the way they've gone about their games. And I think they're going to go and do that again at the weekend. You have to believe they're going to go and beat Southampton by at least 3, being at home.
Gives a prediction.
I'll stick with 3-0.
3-0. Well, no side has lost fewer Premier League home games than Newcastle this season. Right, also at 2 o'clock is Manchester United versus Aston Villa. Manchester United in 4th, 6 points clear of Aston Villa, who are now in 6th. 2 games in hand on Aston Villa. But what a job Nuno Emery has done. They were 16th when he took over. They are now 6th. And got a great chance of European football. Let's just reflect on that Spurs result. Look, I still think Manchester United will finish in the top 4, but that really could have cemented their place last night. So, Ten Hag has criticised the players for only giving 90%. I mean, it's happened a bit recently. Seville as well, 2-0 up at half-time, coasting. Or was it credit to Spurs coming back in the second half?
No, it was nothing to do with Spurs. It was all about Manchester United. As much as maybe it's been sold as Spurs and they're trying to give Spurs a bit of a boost, it was nothing to do with it. It was Manchester United. And I think he's been quite lenient in the ways he said that. He didn't want to go too far, but, he shouldn't be. They never gave anywhere near 90% in that second half. It was a poor start to a second half. It was lethargic. In fact, it's quite pathetic in certain areas. So lacklustre, and I'm just there watching it, and I'm just saying to myself, they're going to give one away, and it could cost them dearly. And they gave them a few chances. Players were overpassing. They wasn't passing with purpose, and they got what they deserved in the end. And they took away the opportunity to maybe go into the game against Villa, full of beans, confident, up against, on form, one of the top 4 clubs in the Premier League at this given moment. And now they're going to be playing the game on the edge again because Villa are on a massive high. Villa will come to Villa will come to Old Trafford, on a high off, remembering their performance against them at Villa Park early in the season as well. They put themselves not in a good position, Manchester United.
They've only lost one of the last 9 Premier League away games, Villa, under Emery.
Yeah, which is incredible when you think about the same players, same personnel, are rejuvenated and McGinn as well. Everything seems to be off his shoulders. He's back to where he was before, tenacious with and without the ball. Emery has done, and I'm really pleased for him because he got treated poorly when he was at Arsenal by the media because he was a top manager when he arrived, but he got treated like a nobody.
So, are you worried about Manchester United on Sunday at home to Villa then?
No, I'm not, because I think the players will come out.
You want to see a reaction?
It has to be a reaction compared to what happened midweek. Yes, people say, but it was a point in London, but it should have been 3 points in London.
Especially when you're 2-0 up.
When you're 2-0 up, yeah. Where before you would have accepted a point going to White Hart Lane, they should have taken 3 points.
And if they do beat Villa, look, Villa have got a lot to do, 6 points. That's another huge step towards Champions League football. And if Manchester United gets Champions League football, that was clearly Ten Hag's priority at the beginning of the season. And then you can chuck in a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup final.
Yeah.
How do you judge this season?
Well, I judge it, everything's been perfect with a cherry on top, being a trophy already, mixed in with an FA Cup final as well. So he's done more than what was expected, but the thing that everyone wants at the end of it is get that all behind him. Champions League spot, of course, but what the rewards that come with it, the opportunity to say the day after the FA Cup final, being able to go and communicate with agents, players about next season and actually go and do their work early rather than the day before the season starts and influx of players arrive.
Right, prediction for Manchester United and Aston Villa.
2-1 to Manchester United.
2-1 Manchester United. Right, live on Sky, 4:30 on Sunday afternoon. Looking forward to this. Liverpool versus Spurs. Liverpool 7th, 53 points. Spurs 5th on 54 points. How do you see Liverpool versus Spurs? I just feel Liverpool have turned a bit of a corner. Spurs haven't yet.
No, Spurs haven't. Spurs are miles away from the corner. Liverpool, it's a biggish game, so they'll come out for that kind of game. It's the way their season's been so far. Playing at home, they lift themselves for the bigger games, struggle with the others. The players have never been called into question about it, but they should do, really. The manager should question his players, but they only come out in big games rather than come out for the games that win your leagues is against the lesser teams, the ones who are really going to have a serious fight. And they haven't done it, Liverpool, but they will beat Spurs on Sunday. Spurs have got a poor record at Anfield already. They're not strong enough to go there. They got off the second half by not having to work hard, just done enough to get themselves back into it. But they haven't got enough about them to go to Anfield where the fans are going to be demanding that as Liverpool players give everything to guarantee a spot in Europe. And they've got to go and do it. I don't think Spurs have got enough behind them to want to go and win at Anfield.
What score then?
I'm going to say that Spurs are going to go away from home again on the following Sunday, and get beaten very well, 3-0.
3-0. Liverpool. Right, Parks, really enjoyed your company. I just want to ask you one final question. Obviously, when you played for Manchester United and lived in Manchester, you had the upper hand over Man City. Have you seen they are as short as now 5-4 to go and win the treble?
It's never been like that before. That tells you what everyone thinks of them. And you look at it and you do ask the question, who can go and stop them? They're not going to be out-footballed. If you're going to beat Manchester City in key games, you're going to need a bit of luck. It's as simple as that. You need the rub of the green to get beyond them. You need Haaland to have a day off. You need something to get beyond them. You need to go and score that first goal, ask questions and hope that you can answer every single one that they throw at you.
And can Man United stop him in the cup final?
Always an opportunity in a one-off game. In a cup final, people will talk about 77 when Liverpool were
stopped him winning treble then,
yeah.
Right, Parks, enjoyed your company. Enjoy your football this weekend. And if you're having a bet, please keep it fun. Gamble responsibly. See you next week.